Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Eva and today I'm doing something a little bit different than usual. At the end of every year, I really like to sit down and take some time to reflect on the past year and prepare for the new year. So that's what I'm doing today. So come along with me for my 2025 life reset. I think it's really important to spend some time to be able to reflect on the past year and prepare yourself for the upcoming year. So like I said, that's what I like to do every single year. And if you guys want, feel free to join with me. I have this entire routine set step by step. So if you guys want at home, you can definitely follow along. I feel like 2024 went by so fast and I really want to go into 2025 with a positive mindset and to be a lot more mindful during the new year. So I kind of set out this routine in 4 different steps, and that is look back, look forward, cleanse, and heal. So I like to write everything down in my journal. This is the one I have. I think it's super cute. But I feel like it definitely helps me organize all my thoughts into one place. So if you guys are following along, make sure you have something that you can write down, whether that's a physical journal or just your notes app on your phone. So I like to start with a few prompts. The first prompt of things that I like to write down are looking back at good memories. So in this section, I really want to look back at times that I truly was happy or things that brought me joy and comfort. And I want to go ahead and write those down and really take a moment to remember the feelings and remember what happened and who the people were that were involved, and definitely take time to appreciate the goods of 2024. And then next, I like to write down things that I wish that I did differently. So whether that's things that I wish played out differently or things I regret how I handled them, I want to take time to acknowledge my mistakes and things that may have gotten wrong or may not have gone the way that I wanted to during the previous year. Next, I write down some lessons that I learned, whether these are positive lessons or lessons that I learned through hardship or heartache. I write those down so I can appreciate the growth and how far I've come in the last year. The last thing I like to write down are things that I achieved. So whether that's things that I'm proud of or things that I finally did during the year, I like to write those down. For example, I pick some goals that I made last year and write down the ones that I actually ended up going through with. So I started YouTube. That was a big thing on my list. It may have been pretty late into the year, but I did actually do it. That I am really proud of. I also traveled a lot more and I started reading again. I read dozens of books this year and I'm really proud of that. I had a really big goal at the beginning of this year to drink more water, and I basically fully cut out ordering pop at like restaurants or fast food. And I always just get water now, which I'm very proud of that because that was not easy to do. So that is the end of look back. So we have just taken a little bit of time to really look back on the last year and appreciate the things that happened, things that may not have happened. So that is what I like to do at the beginning of this entire process. The next step is look forward. This is where I like to write down my goals for 2025. I know we all love to write down a million goals that never end up getting done. So for this, I'm very specific, and I only write down a few that are extremely realistic. I also have it in my mind that if I don't end up doing these goals, it's okay. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna be mad at myself. You need to treat yourself kindly and not hold yourself to such a high standard that you have to get every single goal done. Because if you're under so much stress doing these goals, what was the point? So I like to write down a few. You know, I don't really have a certain number, but I try and be pretty broad, pretty realistic. And out of that list of goals, I kind of separate them into 4 categories. You can definitely do more than 4. I just do 4 because I feel like it fits better when I do my mood board, which I'll explain in a second. For example, last year I separated into health, me time / hobbies, relationship, and career. And I kind of just went through my list of goals and I picked them apart and decided where they kind of fit into those 4 broad categories. Which brings us into my favorite part of this whole process, making my mood board. So this was my mood board for last year. As you can see, I have the 4 categories in all 4 corners. I have health, hobbies, relationship, and career. Moodboard is very, very specific to you. Mine had this beige kind of theme and every single category was in its own section in the mood board, but you can do it however you want. You can have it in sections like that. If you have maybe 5 categories, you could do one in the middle, but you are not obligated to even have sections. You can have your pictures all over and none of them correspond. It is entirely up to you. So now we are going to be making our mood board. So the way I do this is I first figure out all my goals and separate them into their own categories, pick the 4 categories. Once I'm done that, I'm gonna go over on Pinterest and I'm gonna find some pictures that fit well. Like I said, last year I did this beige and silver kind of theme. This year I wanted to change it up and do more of a green gold theme. I've been really into green lately, and so I think seeing it every single day would be really, really nice. And by see it every day, I mean I had my mood board as my wallpaper in my lock screen on my MacBook. So anytime that I opened up my MacBook to use it, especially when I was doing something productive, I got to see the mood board and be reminded of my goals for this year. You can either do it for your MacBook, or you could do for a computer, a phone screen, or even just print it out and have it posted somewhere in your room. So I'm gonna go on Pinterest and find a bunch of pictures that correspond with my goals. I'm going to download them directly onto my computer and then go onto Canva.
Also, feel free to use whatever app you like. I just like to use Canva.
On Canva, I'm going to figure out the perfect dimensions for where I want to put my mood board. Like I said, if you're using a MacBook, just Google what dimensions are my MacBook. If you're using a monitor, make sure the dimensions match up with your monitor on your computer or your phone. Put it in as a custom dimension and then you're ready to start. What I first like to do is put all my pictures on the Canva and separate them into their corners. And then if I like how everything looks, I go on to the next step. So this is how it looks so far, and I'm really, really happy with how it looks. If you want, I've seen a lot of people do this, you can add 2025 somewhere on the page, but I don't like doing that because I feel like it gets rid of some room where I can actually put pictures. So I just decided not to do that. But that is definitely an option. Like I said, everything is what you want to do. My last mood board, I had a bunch of inspirational quotes or little messages that I put variously on my mood board. I'm gonna do that again this year because I really like the look of it. I also feel like it made everything look seamless and all together. So I'm gonna go out and find some quotes or text that go well with each theme. After I'm done that, I'm gonna download it and set it as my wallpaper. We're all done. This is my mood board. I'm extremely happy with it. I think it looks really good. It definitely gives a bit more fresh air and exactly what I'm looking for 2025. And that is the last step in the look forward section. Now that we are done our look forward step, we are on to cleanse. Now this step is probably the most painful mentally step, but it definitely has to be done. It is one of the most important steps in this entire process. When I say cleanse, I literally mean cleanse physically and mentally. So starting off by literally ripping off the band-aid with a very, very hard task on this list is deleting pictures from your phone. This task is really hard because you have to go through pictures that may have people in them that you aren't interested in seeing anymore, or that just aren't in your life, or screenshots of random things. It is a very long and tedious process. Not only does your phone need the storage, I'm sure, but you also really don't want to go into the new year with negativity and your phone just having so much clutter. Going off of clutter on your phone, I also like to take this time to go through the apps that I have on my phone and delete any unwanted apps. I have a horrible habit of downloading one-time use apps. Let's say I had a flight or something and I download the airline app, or I had to get an app for a bus pass or a concert or something like that, and then just never deleting them. So this is the time that I take to go through all my apps and delete anything that I just don't use or that has no business being on my phone anymore. And I go through and make sure to get rid of everything. I also like to take this time to unsubscribe to any paid subscriptions that I just don't need anymore. Whether that is a streaming service, maybe you have 2 types of streaming services and you only need one, definitely go and unsubscribe to the other. Or maybe you're subscribed to a certain Twitch streamer but you barely ever watch them anymore, definitely take the time to go unsubscribe and rid yourself of things that just don't serve you anymore. Going off of things that don't serve you anymore, I also like to take the time to do physical decluttering. Obviously, this may take a few days, weeks, however long it takes for you, but I like to go through all my belongings and kind of just declutter. The way to do this without getting overwhelmed is going room by room, or if you just have a bedroom or a very small place, doing sections of your bedroom. Like maybe one day you do your closet, and then the next day you'll do your desk area, and then your bed area, so on and so forth. I think the biggest task in this is doing my closet, because it really opens my eye to things that I'm buying or things that I currently have that I don't need to keep buying. Whether you go through your clothes and you donate it, sell it, whatever you do with it, I think decluttering your closet is definitely a way to just lift clutter off of your mind. The last thing, and arguably the hardest thing out of all of this, is cutting people out. Unfortunately, I'm sure most of us can relate that there may be some people in our lives that just don't serve us and don't have our best intentions in their hearts. How you do this process is entirely up to you, but I personally don't want to go into a brand new year, a clean slate, with somebody that just isn't caring for me the way that I would care for them, or possibly somebody that constantly does things to hurt me. If you've been looking for a sign to maybe cut that person out of your life that just isn't very kind to you and you guys just aren't clashing very well, this is definitely your sign. This is definitely the time to do it. So that is the end of the cleanse segment. Now we're going on to healing. In this little section, it's very important to understand that healing journey is very, very different for everybody. So the way I do it might not work for you. And on a complete opposite end of the last point, this time I really like to heal relationships that I currently have. These are different than the relationships that you would be cutting off, because these are relationships that you actually want to have, but they just aren't in a great place right now. Whether that is with family, friends, co-workers, a partner, whatever relationships that you have that may be a little rocky right now or maybe strained, now is definitely the time to go ahead and try and repair those. Whether that means you have to be the bigger person or you really need to sit down and have a good conversation with that person, right now is the time to do that. Obviously, if it's something super, super serious, I don't expect you to be the bigger person. Again, everyone is gonna go about this in their own way, but now is the time to do that. I also like to take this time to heal my body in both physical and mental. I know usually everyone starts their New Year's resolutions on New Year's, but I like to start a little bit earlier, around November, around the time I'm posting this. Because, for example, I feel like going from not working out and then January 1st deciding I want to start working out this year is a very hard thing to do. I think it's really hard to build new habits from day one and expect it to be this amazing, consistent thing if you just decide to do it January 1st. But I think if you give yourself a couple months ahead to start easing into those things, once it comes to January, it'll be super easy to just start your New Year's goals. That kind of ties into the next point, which is healing your habits. So I'm talking about old bad habits that you want to get rid of. The new year is a perfect time to start new habits and really good habits, but it's really hard to start and stop habits at the same time. So giving yourself a couple months in advance to stop those habits, I think, is a really, really, really good thing you should start doing. For example, let's just say a bad habit you have is drinking a little too much. If one of your New Year's resolutions or one of your goals for 2025 is to not drink anymore, it's going to be really hard to stop drinking on January 1st, cold turkey. And I'm not saying that it's impossible, but why make things harder? For example, if you drink 3 times a week and your goal for January is to stop drinking altogether, why not try to reduce your drinking this month to 2 times a week? And then December next month, maybe try out 1 time a week. If you can start to get rid of the bad habit now, by the time it comes to January, it should be much easier to stop altogether. And I'm not saying that this process is going to be perfect or linear, but it should make it a lot easier on yourself to stop in January and start implementing good habits in the new year instead of having to worry about the old habits. So that is everything that I do at the end of the year. I know it's a lot. Again, take it as you will. You don't have to do everything that I said. None of this stuff is mandatory to follow. It's just what I do. And I'm hoping that some of you guys can get a little bit of use out of my steps and my routine. I know this video was a little bit different. Let me know if you guys liked it. Also in the comments, let me know if you followed along. I would love, love, love to hear. If you made a mood board, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to see them. I love seeing other people's inspiration. and I really hope that my walkthrough helped you guys a little bit. That's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon, and thank you so much for being here. I love you.